Welcome to Cake Playground, where it's all about the fun. This lesson is on how to make a lattice heart. This beautiful decoration would look great on a wedding cake or a Valentine's Day cake for your sweetheart. It's made out of royal icing and gum paste. You will need the following materials and equipment: a small rolling pin, gum paste, heart cutter, cornstarch, round mold, and cutting board, some pink tinted royal icing, a piping bag, a number 1 tip round with a coupler, a straight pin, gold luster dust and brush. You'll start out by rolling out the gum paste. Put a little cornstarch on each side of the gum paste so it doesn't stick to the board. Using your small rolling pin, roll from the center out and turn 90 degrees after each roll to keep it from sticking. You're going to roll this out until it's about 1/8 of an inch thick. Next, you're going to take your heart cutter and press it into the gum paste. Move it against the rough board to help cut and move away the excess gum paste. Turn the cutter upside down and clean the edges. And then press out the heart with your fingers and smooth out any rough edges. Your heart will look beautiful. To dry the heart, put it over a round shape so it has a curve, and let it dry until it's hard. When the heart has dried until hard, you're going to add some luster dust to the heart. So we're going to apply this dry with a brush. Apply it over the entire surface of the heart all the way out to the edge. And make sure that you also cover the edges with the dust. And then you're going to brush away the excess and look like this. Next, we're going to check the consistency of the royal icing. You want it thick but not too thick. This seems to look like it needs a little bit of water. But with royal icing, you just want to add a couple drops at a time because it can go from stiff to runny really quick. You want the royal icing to look kind of elastic like this. We're going to start out by piping the outline of the heart. It's going to be about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. So start at the top of the heart and pipe around. If you get to a place where it's uncomfortable, turn the heart around so it's comfortable for you to pipe. And you can just pick up where you left off on your piping. So just pipe all the way around and stop where you started, and it should look like this. Next, we're going to pipe some diagonal lines. So start at the top of the heart, and you're going to measure about midway on the side of the heart. I find it helpful to mark with a pen. So pipe across the heart, and it should look like this. Next, we're going to pipe diagonally between the 2 sections in half. So you're going to use the same method. Start on the inside of the line and pipe across to where you marked with the straight pin. So now you should have 3 diagonal lines. Now you're going to pipe between those so it looks like this. Sometimes there are problems in piping and you make a mistake. One of the ways to fix it is to lift the strings up while they're wet with your straight pin. If you get a clog in your piping tip, use your straight pin to push out the clog. This often happens when you use a small tip like a number 1. So push it through, clear out the obstruction, clean off your pin, reattach your piping tip, and then you can start piping again. Now we're going to pipe in the opposite direction. We're going to do the same thing. Start from the tip, measure across. Make sure your line is even with the other line that you piped. Now we're going to pipe in these halves also. in the same way. Take your time so you got nice, even lines. Your end result will look a lot better if your lines are straight to begin with. So take your time in doing this step. Again, you're going to pipe between these lines, and it should look like this. We're going to create the layers now. So we're going to pipe over the top of the lines that we made the first time. Start on the outside of the outline, pipe across directly on top the first line. If you have some excess, you can remove it with your straight pen. It should look like this. You're going to continue on piping across all those lines and cleaning up the excess with your straight pen. You should do this while the royal icing is still wet, and it should look like this. Now we're going to turn the heart the opposite direction and pipe on the opposite lines in the same way. Again, you're going to start on the outside of the outline and pipe across. And then again, clean off any excess while the royal icing is still wet using your straight pen. It should look like this. You're going to continue until you have 4 layers going each direction. I finished my heart with little small beads also piped with the number 1 tip. You can choose to leave yours unpiped with the beads on the outside, but I like the look of it, so you make your own choice. And here's the final heart. Please come to CakePlayGround.com for further tutorials and the recipe for royal icing. We also have product lists and fun articles on all things cake. Remember, at Cake Playground, it's all about the fun.